Good morning, children. Welcome to our social science class. And today we will continue with the chapter of geography, chapter 3, Our Changing Earth. And in this chapter, yesterday, we revised about the forces of the earth. So there are two forces which are working. First is internal or endogenic forces. Second forces are external or exogenic forces. So children, yesterday we revised about in detail about internal or endogenic process. Okay children. So we had revised that internal or endogenic forces are of two types. Sudden movements are there and second is slow movements are there. Sudden forces are there, slow forces. Now due to sudden movement, what formation takes place? Changing of the changing earth, changing in the landform. So sudden movements are volcanoes, earthquake, and landslide. These are the changes. And due to slow movements, now slow movements work in two ways: vertical movements and horizontal movements. Vertical movements are this way, and horizontal movements are this way, east to west. Vertical are north to south. So this way vertical and horizontal. Now due to vertical movements, what formation takes place? Formation of block mountains and rift valleys. Okay children. So due to vertical movements, block mountains are formed and rift valleys are formed. And due to horizontal movement, fold mountains are formed, and they are of two types: young fold mountains and old fold mountains. Young fold mountains are recently formed and old fold mountains are the old ones. Now, we can say one example of young fold mountain is Himalayas. Okay, the Himalayas. And the example of old fold mountains are the Aravalis, which are formed many years ago. And young fold mountains are recently formed. Okay, children. So now today we will be learning and revising in detail about the second forces. Second forces are external or exogenic forces. These forces work on the earth surface. Where do they work? They work on the earth surface. And internal forces, they work in the interior part of the earth. Okay, but these external or exogenic forces, they work on the surface of the earth. Now what happens? By the process of, these forces are working by the process of weathering and erosion. Okay, children, weathering and erosion. Now due to weathering and erosion, these two things are done. Now, by these two things, what happens? Degradation is done. Degradation is done means the wearing down. So here, this is what we are going to learn today in detail about the external or exogenic forces which are working on the surface of the earth by the process of weathering and erosion. Degradation is done. Now what happens? By the weathering and erosion, degradation is done. Then we come to the point. What are the formations which take place? Changing on the earth's surface. So, with the help of degradation, what happens? Now, this work, degradation work, the procedure is weathering and erosion. Okay, breaking of rocks is weathering removal of rocks is erosion. So after breaking in small pebbles and particles, erosion is taking place, means the rock is removed and then wearing down is done, that is degradation. Now this work is done, that is external forces. This work is done by the external forces. And these external forces are what? Is done by these four agents. We can say these are the agents which are working and doing this work. What? Degradation. So first external force is running water. Second external forces are winds. Third are glaciers. And fourth are sea waves. Okay, children. So these are the four agents which are working, and because of them, weathering and erosion is done and degradation is taking place and different landforms are formed. So now we will be revising about the external or exogenic forces which are responsible for the changing landforms on the Earth's surface. So external processes in which the forces are generated by external agents like wind, water, glaciers, and sea waves. Okay, children. Sun is also there, one of the agent, it's a natural agent. And then what happens? Resulting in the formation of various landforms on the Earth's surface. And these are called external processes. Okay, children. Now, these processes result in the removal of materials called erosion, as I told you. What? The removal of material called erosion. And in the accumulation of material called deposition. So that's why here I had written deposition also takes place. Okay, children. So this I have written now so that you understand in a better manner. Now we go further. That is, I will tell you in detail what is weathering and what is erosion. Okay, children. So, weathering is breaking down of rocks into smaller particles. Okay. And erosion is removal or washing away of the weathered rocks by various agents of gradation, such as, you know, agents of gradation are running water, winds, glaciers, and sea waves. Okay, children. So now you have understood what are external or exogenic forces, how do they work, and degradation is done by these agents, running water, winds, glaciers, and sea waves. Now, due to these natural running water, winds, and glaciers, sea waves, what formation takes place? What type of landforms are created on the Earth's surface? This is what we are going to learn now. So, the forces operating on the Earth's surface are called exogenic forces. And now I'll be sharing the screen for the topic. So, children, please pay attention. Okay, so we are on this chapter, chapter 3, A Changing Earth. And this chapter is for class 8 students, a revision in geography. So we had completed this part. Now we come to the external or endogenic forces. Okay, children. So The forces operating on the Earth's surface are called external or exogenic forces. As I told you, this is the Earth's surface. For example, so on top of the Earth's surface is exogenic forces, and under the Earth's surface is endogenic forces. Okay, so here it is external forces. Then what happened? The action of running water, winds, glaciers, and sea waves, they bring about the changes on the surface of the Earth. And these changes are what? Over millions of years. These forces modify. What happened? These forces modify the landforms by the processes of weathering, which means I've already told you, breaking down of rocks into smaller particles. Erosion means the removal of material. And deposition means what? Deposition means accumulation of material. Okay, children. So these forces modify the landforms of the weathering, erosion, and deposition. Some major landforms. Now here we will read now some major landforms created due to the exogenic forces. Okay, children. So due to the exogenic forces, what type of landforms are created? So among them, first of all, we will be reading about the major landforms created by external forces or exogenic forces. External forces are responsible for changing the size and shape of the landforms. The two processes that are responsible for degradation. What? They are responsible for degradation. They are what? Responsible for degradation. You know, children, I told you the meaning of degradation. Degradation means wearing down of rocks by disintegration or breaking of rocks. Okay. So, the two processes that are responsible for degrading the Earth's surface are weathering and erosion. Okay. Weathering is the breaking up of the rocks on the Earth's surface. And erosion is the removal or washing away of the weathered particles by water, wind, waves, ice, etc., which are deposited elsewhere. So, you understood, children, now? Weathering is breaking up rocks. Erosion is removal or washing away of the weathered particles. Now we have the first action of river, means work of the river. So due to the work of the river, what type of formation takes place? What type of changes are there on the Earth's surface? So there are about 10 changes taking place. 10 types of formations are there. So we are going to read in detail about these formations. First is that due to the work of a river, what is formed? Waterfall. You can see here. So the action of running water is one of the major agents of gradation. As I told you, all four of them are the agents of gradation: running water, winds, glaciers, and sea waves. So the work of a river varies, means it is different from place to place depending on the volume of water, the amount of water the river is carrying, and the speed of the river. You know, when the river is flowing from the top of the mountain, the speed will be high because it will be on a slope. But when the river comes down and it is flowing in plains, then that time the speed will be less. So it depends upon the volume of water the river is carrying and the speed, whether it is at a higher level or lower level or a flat surface or on the mountains. So then what happens? When a river tumbles down over hard rocks or descends down steep slope, as I told you, steep slope from the mountains, it forms a waterfall. What is formed? Waterfall is formed. This is the first formation by the work of the river. Now we will discuss about waterfalls. You should know the Salto Angel Fall in South America is the highest waterfall. This is the highest waterfall of the world. The Salto Angel Falls in South America. And the Niagara Falls in North America is the longest waterfall. Understood? North America, Niagara Falls is the longest waterfall. So you know now the highest waterfall is in South America, Salto Angel Falls, and the longest waterfall is in North America, that is the Niagara Falls. Now we come to our country, India. In our country, which is the highest waterfall? So the Jog Falls in Karnataka is the highest waterfall in India. So we have learnt about the work of the river. First work is the formation of waterfall. Now we come to the second formation here. As a river descends to the plains, you can see here, there's a diagram here, features made by river in plain. So when the river comes down the plain, see when it comes from the height, it forms a waterfall. Now what happens in the plains? When river is flowing in the plains, you can see here in this picture, so many things are formed, natural levee and oxbow lake, meander neck is here. So now we will revise. Okay. So as a river descends to the plains, its speed becomes remarkably slow. On plains, the water will not flow very fast. So the speed is slow, resulting in large beds, curves one. See large bed which are curves, known as meanders. You can see here these curves, large curved beds are here, and this is known as meanders. So this is the next formation. Okay, children. Now, before we go further, we will come down to this paragraph from here. Sometimes when a river gets flooded, it overflows its bank. And once the flood recedes, the material gets deposited along the sides of the meander to form a fertile plain called floodplain. So here children, you see meander neck. Just now I explained to you about the meander curve. And then what happens? Once the flood recedes, the material gets deposited along the side of the meander to form a fertile plains. Okay, children. And this is called floodplains. Now we come to the next formation. You have learned now how meanders are formed, how waterfalls are formed, how floodplains are formed. Now next formation is the raised bank along the floodplains are called natural levees. Here you can see the raised bank. I'll repeat here. The raised banks along the floodplains are called natural levees. Here you see in this picture, as the river moves towards the sea, its speed becomes extremely slow and it branches off into numerous channels called distributary. So here you see in this picture about the formation of distributaries. See here, main river is here flowing and it is dividing into so many branches. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, so many. So here it is written, the speed of the river becomes extremely slow and it branches off into numerous channels. See, so many channels, we counted 10 to 13 channels, and these are called what? Distributary. Clear, children? This is the main river. From the main river, it is branched out into numerous channels, and they are known as distributaries. So I repeat here, that as the river moves towards the sea, its speed becomes extremely slow and it branches off into numerous channels called distributaries. Now we come to the next formation, that is delta. Okay, children. So here we see, in between the distributaries, sediments deposit along the mouth of the river to form a delta. Here also you can see, in our country, the Sundarban deltas in West Bengal is the world's largest delta. Okay, children. So here you know again, in between the distributaries, sediments deposit along the mouth of the river to form a delta. Some rivers do not form a delta, but instead they form estuaries. What do they form? They form estuaries. Now we come to the last formation, which is done by the action of the river, or work of the river. So that is, due to extensive erosion, a part of the meander. See here in the picture, meander is there, meander neck is there, and now we are learning about the formation of Oxbow Lake. Here see Oxbow Lake here. So due to extensive erosion, the extensive erosion means removal of soil. A part of the meander gets cut off to form an Oxbow Lake. So see, it is cut off from here, from the main, and this is known as Oxbow Lake. Okay, children. So now we have learned about the work of the river, which is one of the agent of external forces or exogenic forces, and with the help of the river, we have the formation of waterfall, formation of floodplains, formation of natural levees, distributaries, deltas, estuaries, meanders, and Oxbow Lake. Okay, children. So now we have completed the action of river. And now we will go to the second agent, that is work of sea waves. Now this is the second agent of external forces, sea waves. Now how do they work? So due to the work of sea waves, we have say about 5 types of formation. As you can see in this picture, features made by sea waves. So we start from here. The action of sea waves is predominant along the coastal regions. The erosion and deposition caused by the sea waves are responsible for the formation of coastal landforms. So many sea waves are there at the coastal area, so many landforms are formed. Now what happens? Sea waves constantly strike against the relief features and erode them. So constantly the sea waves are coming and going against the rock or against the landform, but whatever is there along the seashore, and it keeps on striking and striking and striking, and then that particular feature, it keeps on eroding. Now what happens? The striking sea waves develop cracks in rocks. And with the passage of time, means with the passage of time, after many years, these cracks become larger and wider. See here, these cracks continuously, sea waves are going against the landform and striking and striking and striking. And what happens here, so you can see here in this picture that these cracks become larger and wider, forming hollow cave-like formation. See this hollow part and cave-like formation, and this is called sea caves. Okay, children. Now, this was the first formation, sea caves. Now, second formation is further erosion makes the cavities even bigger and only the roof of the cave remains. See here now, this is the sea caves are formed, and finally these sea caves, again water is striking, sea waves are striking against the landform, and it becomes little larger. It becomes a little bigger. So, which looks like an arch. You can see here, it's looking like an arch here. And this formation is called sea arch. Okay, children. This formation is called sea arch. Now we go further for the next formation. Next formation is this. As we are going further, waves are striking, sea caves are formed. Then again, it becomes more larger and wider, and it's like an arch, and it is called sea arch. Now, again, all the more waves are striking and degradation is taking place, weathering and removal of erosion is taking place. So what happens? What formation is there? You can see here gradually waves are continuously going against the landform, and then finally, what happens? This part also is removed. See, all this part, the above part is removed, and here now on top is nothing. See, this is separated from this land. So what happens here? Further erosion wipes out the roofs, leaving only the vertical walls. So as I told you, this roof of the arch is gone away, washed away, and only what? This vertical wall remains here, leaving only the vertical walls, and these walls like structure are called stacks. Okay, children. These structures are called stacks. Further we go for the next formation by the sea waves. These steep coast, the steep coast of the rock, which stands almost vertical. See, this is so steep, straight. There's no slope here like mountain. It is a straight wall, very steep. So what happens here? This is the next formation. The steep coast of the rock, which stands almost vertical above the seawater, is called a sea cliff. Okay, children. It is called a sea cliff. And the waves also deposit sediments along the seashore, which form sea beaches. You know, you go and see, might have visited so many beaches in Goa or in Bombay or in Chennai. So here these beaches are formed due to sea waves, because the waves deposit sediments along the seashore, and which forms sea beaches. So children, you have learnt about the action of sea waves, and by the action of sea waves, we have say about 4-5 types of formations: sea caves, sea arches, then stacks, sea cliffs, and sea beaches. No, we've learned caves, sea arches, stacks, sea cliffs, and the beaches. Okay, children. Now we come to the third agent of external forces. The third agent is glacier. Okay. So we will be learning about the work of glacier. How does the glacier changes the landforms? So glaciers are, what are glaciers? First the question arises. Glaciers are slow moving rivers of snow and ice. Okay, children. What are glaciers? Work of glaciers are slow moving rivers of snow and ice. As a glacier moves, it erodes rocks and exposes the solid rock below. Therefore, the valleys made by glaciers have a flat bottom with steep sides and are called U-shaped valley. So the first formation made by glacier is U-shaped valley, which you can see here in this picture, U-shaped valley. Here you can see this way. Now we go further about the description of U-shaped valley. Now next further what happens as the ice melts. As the ice melts, when the temperatures are high, summertime, and ice melts, what happens? The depressions get filled up with water to form beautiful lakes. So second formation is lakes. So lakes, by the help of glaciers, U-shaped valleys are formed and beautiful lakes are also formed when the ice melts and the depressions get filled up with water. Okay, children. And beautiful lakes are formed in the mountains. Now, next formation, that is the third one, is glaciers carry huge amount of pieces of rocks. When the glaciers are moving rivers of snow. So when they are moving, they carry huge amount of pieces of big rocks of different sizes along with sand and silt. So what are they carrying with themselves? When they are moving, they carry different sizes of rocks and sand and silt. Finally, which gets deposited somewhere, okay, on the earth's surface. So these deposits are called moraines. Okay, children. These deposits are called moraines. So now we have learned about the third agent of external forces. How does it work? That is glaciers. And these glaciers, they form U-shaped valleys, they form beautiful lakes, and also they are, when they deposit the big different sizes of rocks and sand and silt. So accumulation is deposition. So accumulation of material is deposition. So when it is accumulates in one place, it is called moraines. Now we come to the fourth agent of gradation, or fourth agent of the external forces. That is, these are winds. Okay, work of wind. So due to the work of wind, what type of formations are taking place on the earth's surface? Say we can say about three types. Okay. So wind is an very important agent of gradation. But where? In which place? That is in desert regions. You know, you might have seen this in Rajasthan, we have desert, and the largest desert in Africa, Sahara also. You might have heard, you might have learned in the previous classes, class 6th and class 7th also. So here, wind is an important agent of gradation in desert region. It is an important agent of erosion and deposition both. It erodes also and it deposits also. A strong wind can carry not only fine particles of dust or soil, but also larger particles of sand and gravel. So wind carries large particles of sand and gravel also. So then what happens? In deserts, we can see rocks resembling the shape of mushrooms that are commonly known as mushroom rocks. So how is mushroom rock taking place here? That is due to the work of the wind. You can see here in the picture mushroom rock. The base is narrow. This is the base which is narrow and the upper part is so broad. No? So this is in the shape of mushroom. So it is known as mushroom rock. See, narrow base and the upper part is, top is broader. So again, I repeat, the formation of mushroom rocks. In deserts, we can see rocks resembling the shape of mushrooms that are commonly known as mushroom rocks. Now, these rocks have a narrow base, as I told you, and a wider top. Due to the why? Due to the different rate of erosion. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. And when the velocity of the wind decreases or there is an obstruction in the form of hills. How? See, high speed wind is blowing and all of a sudden there in between while it is blowing, what happens? An obstruction comes in the form of hills and mountains. Mountains come in between as an obstruction. Then what happens? The sand gets deposited to form sand dunes. So how are sand dunes formed? Sand dunes are formed due to the work of the wind when they deposit the sand in one place. It is accumulation, deposition, and it is called sand dunes. Okay, children. Now, another formation is there due to the work of the wind. That is the last one. The fine particles of sand and dust. The fine particle of sand and dust here carried away by wind from great distances get deposited to form loess. Okay. So this is the third formation. The fine particles of sand and dust carried away by wind from great distances get deposited to form loess. And here there is an example that the Honghu Valley in China is famous for such deposits. Example is the Honghu Valley in China is famous for such deposits. So children, we have learned about the work of the wind. This is the fourth and the last agent we have learned about, that how do they work as external forces and they change the landform. So with the help of the wind, we have the formation of mushroom rocks and we have the formation of sand dunes and also the formation of loess. Okay, children. So here we are going to revise once again about the external forces, about the external forces, about the external forces we are going to. So here, just a repetition from the beginning. As I told you that external or exogenic forces, they work by the process of weathering and erosion. And with the process of weathering and erosion, degradation is done by these agents: running water, winds, glaciers, and sea waves. Now, with the help of running water, we have so many formations. First is what? That is the waterfall. Then we have the formation of floodplains. We have the formation of natural levees, distributaries, deltas, estuaries, meanders, and oxbows. And with the help of or with the work of sea waves, we have sea caves, sea arches, stacks, sea cliffs, and sea beaches. With the work of glacier, we have the formation of these many things. Land on the earth's surface, that is U-shaped valley, and we have moraines, and also we have formation of beautiful lakes. Now with the work of wind, we have also different formations. The first one is mushroom rocks. Then we have the formation of sand dunes. And finally, because of the deposition, formation of what thing takes place? Formation of loess. And the Honghu Valley in China is famous for such deposition. So finally, children, we have completed the chapter and the revision of external forces and internal forces. How do they work? So the surface of the earth is not uniform and it consists of different landforms such as mountains, plains, and plateaus. As I told you, the nature of earth is dynamic, it keeps changing. The landforms that we see on the earth have been formed due to the changes that took place for millions of years. So these changes are not within 1 or 2 days, but it takes millions of years. The earth crust consists of plates known as lithospheric plates or tectonic plates. The large scale movement of these plates are caused by endogenic and exogenic forces. Okay. Now the internal forces of the earth, they cause earthquake, volcanic eruption and landslide, etc. They bring abrupt changes over the earth's surface. And due to the external forces of the earth, action of rivers, sea waves, glaciers, winds are responsible for changing the shapes and sizes of the landforms on the surface of the earth. So children, this is all for today. Keep learning and keep helping your parents at home. Be an obedient student, obedient child, obedient son, obedient daughters. And see you in the next class. Thank you for watching. Take care and stay safe.